This conference will now be recorded.
All right. Hi, I'm Dr. Annette Cargioli, and this is Yelena, and we're going to be doing a live remote EPT session today with Yelena doing emotional polarity technique, and I will call it EPT for short. So if you hear me say that, that's what it is. And EPT is a completely different approach in emotional health care. Instead of using traditional therapy to change how you feel or drugs or, prescription drugs to change how you feel, EPT relies on the science of forgiveness to basically resolve the unresolved conflicts that you don't even realize are harbored in your mind and in your body and making you sick or unable to move forward or just feeling stressed out. So that's what we do. Now, I don't call it a new technique. It might be new to a lot of you who might be watching, but EPT actually has over 25 years of clinical success ending all kinds of suffering using the power of forgiveness with adults and children. Children as young as 1 year old, even younger sometimes. So this power of forgiveness is such an amazing gift that we're sharing it on this Facebook page because we really want more people to understand it and get a feel for it. So you are welcome to watch this or any of the videos that we have posted on this page so that you can kind of get an idea of what this type of therapy actually looks like and what kind of a difference it can make very quickly. So, Yelena, do you have an
Hi.
idea of what you want to work on, or do you want to just dive in?
I would like to dive in.
Perfect.
Yes.
Because you have never had, well, have you had an EPT session, maybe with Chloe?
No, I have not. I
You
haven't
have
yet.
not.
So it's
So,
going to be the first time.
and are you, I don't know, are you a single mom or are you married?
I am a single mom.
Okay, and just one child?
Just one baby, which she's 13 months.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
And let me ask just a few questions about symptoms that you might carry. Like, do you get any kind of headaches or back pain? So, first, physical symptoms. Do you have any chronic symptoms?
I do, which is actually I have urine blockage quite often. I even
Where,
had to a urine blockage. Like
yeah, I mean,
I'm unable
pee.
to to pee, and I ended up in emergency room a couple of times.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Did they tell you what was wrong?
Nothing.
No.
They can't figure it out.
Oh, I love it. So, how long have you, I'm saying I love it because one, they can't figure something out that's biological. It's probably something in your mind and your emotions. So, how long have you, like, when did this start occurring?
A very long time ago. Probably I started noticing it about like when the symptoms became to the point where it was impossible not to notice them about probably 4 years ago. And it's just getting worse and worse. And then it
Wow.
got to the point where I ended up in emergency room, and it just keeps happening from time to time.
So every now and then it happens for no reason, as you can tell.
It usually is associated with probably like stressful situations.
But it
But
didn't have, yeah.
yes, but it's there's no pain, there's nothing. It's just sometimes it just happens.
So that I'm thinking, you just feel pressure in your bladder and you can't go
Yeah,
to the bathroom. You can't, yeah.
you just wake up in the morning and you can't. You want to go so badly. It's been a whole night of sleeping and you
And
just
it doesn't,
can't.
and it doesn't hurt.
No, it's super. It's sometimes it's unbearable. Not painful, but unbearable because you just need to use the restroom, but you can't. Yeah.
So is there anything that you've done that has improved it or made a difference in it?
No, because nobody can say what it is. I went to urologists, a few of them, gynecologists, and no one can really figure
Wow.
it out.
Wow. Okay. And then, okay, so that's the primary unresolved physical symptom that you deal with.
Yes,
And then let's see,
and
I'm right. Go ahead.
and and then also I have that is probably somehow has something to do with having a baby a year ago. I had myoma, if that makes myoma,
Yeah.
and
Where?
it's in my uterus, and it has grown to 14 centimeters post birth.
So what's that, about that
No,
big?
no, it's this big.
Oh, four, I'm in
14,
inches.
14, 1 4.
14. Oh, okay. I thought four. Okay.
No, no,
So
no,
four, so it's
14.
it's like a
It's huge.
it's not a, is it a fibroma?
It's a fibroma. Yeah,
Okay. Um,
fibros. Yeah.
yeah. So fibrocyst.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. You're saying it. It's exactly what you said. Like fibrocyst. Yes.
fibrocyst. And does it cause you to have excess bleeding or anything?
Yes.
And and that's only been since you delivered your baby.
No, it's been there for a while, but I think it got due to hormone change. It it definitely grew and kept growing. Keeps growing
Wow. So do you notice that you're full there?
all the time. Yeah,
I mean, have they
and it's
must have,
tender.
oh,
You can't like really touch the stomach because it's just you can feel it.
they must have explored the idea that possibly this cyst is blocking your urinary tract.
So that was the question, and I went to a couple of different doctors, and no, they're saying that in one doctor said in 30 years of practicing, um, no, cysts don't block.
Wow, I had no
Yeah,
idea. I mean,
yeah,
that's just where my head went because I thought,
yeah.
but then
I
again,
thought the same.
it wouldn't, I don't know how it would make sense that your the urine blocking comes and goes and the
Yes, there's
fibrocyst stays the same.
yes. It seems like it's connected, and there's some connection there, and I know there is, but it's not the fibrosis, it's not the cyst that's causing the urine blockage. Because I went to a couple of doctors, I went through a couple of very um, thorough procedures where they checked and they said no, nothing's blocked.
Wow. Well, that's good to know. It's really good. So, because they've already figured that part out, we don't have to wonder if that's what's going on.
Hmm.
Um, all right. So, let me ask one more question about how often does the urine blocking occur? Is it like once a month, once every 2 months?
It could be like 2 days in a row, and then nothing for a month, and then again it just happens out of nowhere, and then there could be nothing for another month.
So but it could last as long as 2 days.
It it yes, it can last for a day or two usually. Yeah,
But then
I use a catheter. I
oh,
know.
oh my goodness.
I use catheters.
Could it go for 2 months without blocking?
No, usually it's more than usually it's a monthly thing.
So it might be as many as 2 days a month you have to deal with this.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. And then the cyst, you said it does cause excess bleeding during your monthly cycle.
Yes, it does. And I definitely feel like I'm much bigger in my stomach area than I'm supposed to, and it's very tender. When my daughter like tries to jump on me,
Yeah.
I can't even like can't let her go near me,
Do
and
you ha do
just do that.
you get cramps during your monthly cycle?
Not so much.
So it's
I
not a
mean,
pain.
there's it's not that painful. I mean, I don't know what people experience. It's like usually it's a one painful day, and then it just
Okay. So
it's not an easy one. It's not an easy period for sure.
right, but
My periods are not
it's not
easy.
days and days and days.
No, it's not days and days and days. No.
Okay. All right. Then now I'm going to ask you about your emotional, like what in your emotional life is not where is you'd like to see get better or feel better about.
um, I am currently dealing with um, uh, we're probably going to court for child custody, and I am dealing with an ex-partner who is well, we went to a group to to a couple therapists, and she said that he's a narcissist.
Right.
So I guess I'm just surviving a narcissist right now,
Yeah.
and have been for about 8 years. In my personal life, I'm lacking confidence at all. I don't have
Okay.
confidence. I have a
Okay.
huge level of anxiety.
You realize that not having confidence would attract every narcissist in the Western world,
And I guess it's a catch-22 because then the confidence goes even more down in
right?
this type of
Right.
toxic relationships.
Right. It's very, this person, if he is, and I don't know him, if he is truly a narcissist, will not be attracted to a woman who has confidence
Hmm. I
because
know
then he
that.
can't do his thing
Hmm.
because she won't put
Yes.
up with that. She'll be like, no.
Yeah.
And if he's truly a narcissist, instead of a, like just a, ego driven, immature man, who needs to grow in maturity, if he's truly a narcissist and it benefits him, then a woman with confidence will never benefit him.
Hmm.
Never. Because
Yeah.
he's not looking to grow, he's looking to dominate.
Yes.
All right, so no confidence. And like I said, I don't know if that's true or not about your partner. I don't know him.
Hmm.
And I have seen men who were called narcissists grow emotionally like they didn't even know that there was a better way to be, and they will actually grow. So while they did
Hmm.
behave narcissistically, they were willing to grow emotionally. And so for me, I think a true narcissist doesn't want to grow or can't grow. It's just not worth it to them.
It's the second is what's happening here.
It feels more like that to you.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
And I feel like I've lost focus. I really can't focus. I also lost the whole picture of life, kind of. It's just very blur.
Right. So you're
I used to
really,
know this and this, and this is where I need to go, and this is what needs to be done. And it's just all blur. I kind of lost my,
has it been since you've been in relationship with him?
it, it definitely worsened while being in a relationship with him.
Okay.
Definitely.
So
Like all of
it
a sudden
didn't,
it was a drop.
right. So it didn't happen when you had the baby. It happened before that.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, that sounds like a lot of evidence that he probably is very narcissistic in his thinking, and you don't have time, and I don't have time to fix that. He's going to have to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know, he's going to have to figure that out because it won't work for him forever, and it won't bring him the happiness he hopes it will. But he has to figure that out. It's way too much work for you and me.
Absolutely.
Um, All right, so we're going to start by, you have your magnets, right?
I
So for
do.
the
They're
people
ready.
watching this, we're using magnets as an energy source to basically interfere with the way the body and the mind holds a particular idea or thought pattern, because your body is like an ocean. It responds to every thought you have in some way cellularly. And that's why when you know you eat some food and it has a taste like some food you ate when you were a kid and you had the flu right after that. And now the taste of it makes you nauseous. And
Hmm.
you can, even though you don't really think about getting sick on the food when you were a kid, you realize, oh, this made me sick when I was a kid. And now, even though this food is fine and you're not a kid, your body gets sick. So it's that type of response is going on at every level in so many ways that it's just, to me, it's just infinite. And we're jumping into that stream to find and locate what is the most important thing that we can shift in your body to make everything better. So,
My God,
and
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. Okay, so we're going to use magnets, and I've got these. She's got some with her that look like this. These are just my magnet covers because I'm going to have her use the magnet. I also want to mention here that I use something called a sound therapy machine. It's been called a qigong machine. It basically is a sound energy, and I put that on myself when I'm doing remote healing, because remote healing, if you're an energy healer of any kind and you're doing this whole online business, you just want to beware. I mean, it has a toll on you, and you need to make sure that you're replenishing yourself while you're doing this type of work. So I have that on. I like to tell energy healers that because I feel like that's the canary in the coal mine, that a lot of energy healers just go, oh my, you can do this long distance. This is great. But then 10 years down the road, when they're super sick, it never occurs to them that what they did long distance may have eroded something in their own health. So rather than wait, I just give myself a little replenishment with my Qigong machine, my sound therapy, so that my solar plexus is replenished while I'm working with you. So you're going to take these magnets, and I want you to take the blue side, and I have green right here, but the blue side against your head, and we're going to do rapport first. So I need you to put the blue on either side of your head. Yep, just put them on, and then breathe, squeeze your head together while you breathe in. So breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And then, oh wait, leave those there. And then you're gonna go the front of your head with the finger and the back of your head. And on this one, you're gonna leave the magnets in place, and then you're gonna lift skyward as you breathe in. So breathe in and lift, breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. And breathe in and breathe out. Okay, perfect.
Wow, I have never ever in my life felt anything like this. This is the
Yay!
first time I opened the
That's
magnets
cool.
in front of you, like when just right now while we were talking. So it's
Yes.
incredible.
So we're
That
going to use we'll use the magnets on your body as we get to that place. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to just check to see what stage of healing you're in. That's going to be our focus for this session. And the reason I kind of mentioned, instead of just jumping in and saying, where are we going to go? I want to include the problems that you're dealing with into the statements. So that's why I asked about what things might improve in your life before we even get there. So the stage of healing, oh good, you're in stage 2, which is anger. And for those people watching, stages of healing are denial, anger, bargain, depression, acceptance, light emerging, and creation of new life. So what we want to do is, and these are places that people get stuck. And when you understand where they're stuck and you ask the body, how do I move them from this place to creation of new life? Where in creation of new life, our hope is, hey, I don't have urine blocking anymore. Hey, this thing with my child custody is working out great. It's so much better than I thought it was going to be. That would be creation of new life, because right now there's anger because I've got a physical symptom. I don't know why it's not getting better. I have this partner that's not being helpful with the raising of our child, and I have a cyst and it's tender. So I'm just and I can't think, I'm kind of foggy. So this is where you're at. You're at stage 2, which is anger, which is, I hate this. Why is my life like this? That's what
it's un
anger is.
it's unbelievable. I experience insane anger all the time,
Yeah.
which burns me inside.
Right. And the thought of being in the stage of anger is, I hate this. Like, I am so angry that my life has to deal with all this, and it's hard, and I don't even know how I'm going to do it. And other people seem like they're doing just fine. That just pisses me off. That's anger, where I realize I'm dealing with really hard things and other people aren't. And it's and I don't seem to be get ahead of the game. So we're going to move you from anger. After anger is bargain. Bargain is where, and I really believe you've been going anger, bargain, depression, anger, bargain, depression. And then you can't stand being in depression. So you just get angry again because at least you feel some power and some
Hmm.
energy. So bargain is where the person says, fine, I'll do whatever I have to do. I will talk to him reasonably. I will go through whatever the court thing is we have to go through. I won't go crazy. And then at the end, it still ends up not in my favor. I still have pain. I still have problems. My life is still hard. And now I'm just depressed. So depression is where I'm so stuck because it just feels like nothing I am doing is making a difference.
Hmm.
And in depression, a lot of people wonder, is this just how life is going to be? It's just going to suck for me. And I just need to suck it up and say, life sucks. And this is how my life is going to be. And why bother doing anything? Because it's always going to suck. That's what a lot of people feel like in depression. And because of that, a lot of people who hit depression, it's so painful that a lot of times this is where people end up in addictions, either overeating, damaging their own body by the food they
Hmm.
eat or the poor eating choices, or they don't sleep, or they don't take care of themselves, or even worse, that they put toxic things in, like addictions to drug or alcohol. That's where those happen because people are so sad and tired that nothing seems to get better and they don't know why.
Oh
So
my God,
we're
you're
going to
so
hopefully
absolutely right
yeah, so we're going to
about
hopefully, our
everything.
goal is to get you over the depression hump in this session, which then you can actually start to effectively tackle the things you need to tackle and get ahead instead of just feel like you keep getting knocked back down to anger. So you're in stage anger. So I'm going to ask your body how many issues. So, and I get 2 issues. Now that could be 2 issues to move you up from anger, but it could be 2 issues to get you all the way through depression. So we're going to do the first issue, and it's family, current, self, grief, and it's my grief. So I'm going to write this statement, my grief, and I feel my grief because, and I'm just going to say, because nothing gets better. Nothing is getting better. Nothing in my life is getting better. Does that work?
I I'm not sure. I have so much going on inside right now. I'm
Okay.
having a hard time
So
processing it.
when I muscle test, I get that that works. I just wanted to make sure that that would actually work for you. That you may also feel grief because I don't have any control.
You're right. You're right. It's like trying and trying and trying and trying and trying, and it's like hitting the wall all the time.
Okay, I don't have control to make a change I would like. So is control a good word? I don't have control to make the changes I want.
It's more of it's what you said before that said better. It's like
I can't make anything better.
disparity or something,
Yes.
it's just
Yes. So, yeah, because no matter what I do, I can't make it better.
hmm
I'll put that one down too. No matter,
helplessness.
huh?
Helplessness.
Yes. No matter what I do, I can't make it better. I can't fix it. Is fix
hmm
it good? I can't
Yeah,
fix
yeah.
or make it better. I'll put both. Make it better. And these words are really important, and that you're okay with those words because it may be words that you told yourself in another time and place that you don't even
hmm
remember. That might have been true then, but it's not really true now. So, grief, yeah. So we're going to go ahead and fix the grief. So this is my grief. Well, before I go there, I'm going to say, is there an original? Yeah, conception to birth, birth 5 to 10, age 6. So my grief at 6, what was going on at age 6?
Um, at age 6, um, I think my the most that I remember is my dad having alcohol issues and like it bringing so many problems at home and like constant fighting at home and I really couldn't play outside because in the evening like I was
Yeah,
really stressed out before evening because I knew that he would be coming and I would be very embarrassed by my like being among my friends and like I would see him like coming back home like really drunk
yeah. So
and that would be really embarrassing.
So at 6, you remember being embarrassed and ashamed of your dad's alcohol.
Yeah.
And even more than that, ashamed because his alcohol made our family not happy.
Yeah, there was constant fighting, constant fighting. Like there was never a good time. And I also couldn't understand if I asked, why was it so hard to fix? Obviously, as a child, I couldn't, like, if I asked to stop, why is it so hard to stop such a nightmare? Like, I couldn't
Oh,
understand.
so as when you were 6, you felt like it was never going to stop.
I felt like, why was it so hard just to stop such simple thing? If for me, it felt like that was very simple for them to stop fighting or for the drinking to stop, but it would end such a nightmare for me.
Yes. But were you the only child at home?
No,
No. So there were other
but
children, but were
Mm,
you the
I,
youngest?
I'm the youngest, so as a child, yes, I guess I was
Yeah.
the only child, like of.
So, but you were 6, so if mom and dad are fighting, it's hard for you. You didn't really have anybody because you could take care of yourself at 6.
Uh, I honestly don't remember that.
You don't remember? You just do remember that, and this is my grief. I don't have control to make the changes I want. That's what we started with now. And no matter what I do, I can't fix it or make it better. No matter how good I am as a 6-year-old, no matter what I do, even if I play inside or I don't tell anybody that we have this problem, it won't make it better. And even if I tell them, why don't you just stop doing this? It won't make it better.
Mainly, no matter how much I ask, no matter how much I ask, that why am I not heard?
Yes. And what you wanted to ask was, why don't you two just stop this?
Yeah, especially him.
No matter what I ask, I am not hurt. That sounds like your current partner.
Absolutely,
Wow. Yeah,
absolutely. That's exactly that.
this is time, just so time to let go of. It's so time to let go of this. Oh my goodness. Oh, so hard to be 6. Um, all right. So, do you remember anything in particular, or was it just you waiting every day for dad to come home drunk and then them fight?
Yeah, every Saturday and Sunday mornings would start from screaming, and as a child, I just couldn't even understand why can't it be any other scenario but this particular like toxic energy.
Yes. Where did you go to hide from it?
Uh, I don't remember. I don't remember because I had a happy childhood with friends outside, but these were particular things. And you know what's so interesting because it happens again in life. My life, I'm so thankful for so many things, but there's some just dark spots that I can't pretend they're not there and I can't get rid of them.
Right. Well, and I was also checking like what trauma phase you were in, because this was super traumatic for you. Even thinking about it, that's why you're having so much emotion. You're in phase 2 trauma, which means that the way you coped was the reason you can't remember is because you just disassociated.
Yeah,
You
and I
just
remember.
checked out, and then you would act like a robot because you would do what you had to do as a 6-year-old, and not you didn't want to burst into crying or anything because that didn't
No,
matter. So, and you were afraid everything would just get worse. So you disassociated. So it means that you just check out on yourself when things get hard. You just and what that means, it's like phase 2 trauma is where a person just goes through the motions of life, but they're really not connected to it.
no, not at
And
all.
yeah, and when you're not connected, you can't actually create anything that can give you joy because you're just following your brain, you're just hooking into the brain neural pathways that somebody trained you to do, and you do it automatically. Kind of like when you drive from point A to point B in a car and you don't remember if you passed a Starbucks or not because you're disassociated, but you're actually operating the car. So I think that you you taught yourself to go through life that way. When things get really hard, I just check out.
Absolutely. It's 100% how I function, and that's exactly what's happening.
And it's,
Absolutely.
and I want to
I
say,
couldn't put it any better.
right. And so your checking out at age 6 worked for you. You know, it actually worked for you. So now it's really hard for your brain to give that up because it was so effective when you were 6. It actually, you don't even remember. You're like, I don't remember how I escaped what I did. And I'm telling you, it's you kind of just disassociated. So, all right. So, we need you to we're going to use the magnets to correct this. So, anger, or I'm sorry, grief. Yeah, we're going to go to this. So, we're going to go right up here with the blue, and then, oh wait, yeah. And then I want you to put the blue side against your forehead, and then you're going to breathe in and breathe out. And think about being 6. Breathe in, breathe out. And this was happening every day, and it was so embarrassing. Breathe in and breathe out. Wow. Are there any other emotions? Yes. Lost and vulnerable. So you can bring the magnets down. Lost and vulnerable. All right. So lost and vulnerable. I feel lost and vulnerable at age 6 because I was in a situation and there was no adult really there to help me because they were fighting. I was embarrassed. Nothing, no matter what I asked for, I wasn't heard. I was left to just be in the shadows while they had their big fight, and nobody cared about what I wanted. And no matter what I did, I couldn't fix it, and I didn't have the control to make any changes that I would have made. Like I had zero control at age 6, and this was happening all around me. So now we're going to do, I felt lost and vulnerable. And now you're going to put red on your chest and red. So this is going to be red over your heart and red over your forehead. I'm going to use these. Yeah. Red and red. And then breathe in, breathe out. And this is when, breathe in, breathe out. This is age 6. When all of that was happening, you had no control over it. Breathe in, breathe out. All right. And are there any other emotions? Nope, just those 2 emotions. You can bring your magnets down. All right, and now we're going to do forgiveness statements. And what I want you to do is I need you to hold the magnets with the red side against on either side of your head. And if I want to tell you that if you get tired holding that, that's okay. Just take a break from it. So hold it while we do the statements, but if you get tired, don't feel like you have to stay in that position.
Okay.
If you were in my office, I mean, I'm holding the magnets for you. And I'll say this, that about 80% of EPT is the same in person as it is online. So about 80%. So if you need to lower those, that's okay.
Okay.
So, but I need you to hold it there and we're going to say statements. Okay. So you're going to repeat after me. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that I can't love my dad
that I can't love my dad
without, or my mom,
or my mom
or myself,
or myself
or my partner,
or my partner.
or even my child.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Or my child
Without feeling
without feeling
this trauma from age 6,
this trauma from age 6
where I felt lost and vulnerable
when I felt lost and vulnerable
and deep grieving
and deep grieving
because I didn't have control to make the changes I wanted to make.
because I didn't have control to make the changes I wanted to make.
And I felt ashamed
And I felt ashamed
that I had a family like this,
that I had a family like this,
where my dad would get drunk every day
where my dad would get drunk every day,
and they would fight and yell all the time.
and they would fight and yell all the time.
And no matter what I asked for,
And no matter what I asked for,
nobody heard me.
nobody heard me.
What I wanted didn't matter.
What I wanted didn't matter.
And it made me feel like I didn't matter.
And it made me feel like I didn't matter.
And that what I do in life doesn't matter.
And what I do in life doesn't matter.
Because at the end of the day,
Because at the end of the day,
I couldn't stop all of that yelling and pain.
because at the end of the day, I couldn't stop all of that yelling and pain.
And they wouldn't.
And they wouldn't.
And then breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that this trauma my parents created in my environment
that this trauma my parents created in my environment
had to mean that I don't matter in love relationships.
had to mean that I don't matter in love relationships.
And that what I need doesn't matter.
And what I need doesn't matter ever.
Yeah, and then breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that that if I could have stopped them from fighting and him from drinking,
if I could stop them from fighting and him from drinking,
then I would have mattered.
then I would have mattered.
Then I would matter.
Then I would matter.
And yeah, and then I wouldn't need to be in control.
And then I wouldn't need to be in control.
And then breathe. Oh, good. Yeah. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that I still need to stop the constant fighting,
that I still need to stop the constant fighting,
and I have to show up feeling angry.
and I have to show up feeling angry
In an effort to change what happened when I was 6 all over again.
in an effort to change what happened at 6 all over again,
Even though
even though
that was then,
that was then,
and this is now.
and this is now. This is now.
Yeah. I forgive my 6-year-old self
I forgive my 6-year-old self
for wow, for blaming herself.
for blaming myself,
Yeah, because I couldn't stop it.
because I couldn't stop it.
And then breathe. I forgive my 6-year-old self
I forgive my 6-year-old self
for chronically looking for a way
for chronically looking for a way
to stop the trauma,
to stop the trauma,
to stop my dad from drinking,
to stop my dad from drinking,
to stop them from fighting,
to stop them from fighting,
so that I will know that I matter.
so I will know that I matter.
And then breathe. Yeah. Are you okay? I give
Yeah.
myself permission. You're doing
I give
good. You're doing good. It's
it.
hard. I give myself permission
I give myself permission
to say yes
To say yes
to this loss and vulnerability
to this loss and vulnerability
and the deep grief I felt at age 6.
and the deep grief I felt at age 6.
And and the false meaning that I assigned to it,
And the false meaning that I assigned to it,
that I don't matter in love relationships,
that I don't matter in love relationships,
that I'm not good enough,
that I'm not good enough,
and that I'm unworthy of love.
and that I'm unworthy of love.
And I call it all up,
And I call it all up,
all of the trauma,
all of the trauma,
the loss, the grief,
the loss, the grief,
and the lies I told myself.
and the lies I told myself.
I release it all from my body, mind, and spirit.
I release it all from my body, mind, and spirit.
And then breathe. I let go
I let go
of changing or fixing what happened in my life at age 6.
of changing and fixing what happened in my life at age 6.
And that frees me
And that frees me
to know that I always mattered to my parents,
to know that I always mattered to my parents.
that what I needed was important to them. They just didn't know how to give it.
So what I needed was important to them. They just didn't know how to give it.
And that I was important to them.
I was important to them.
They just didn't know what to do.
They just didn't know what to do.
And they didn't know how I felt
And they didn't know how I felt
and what I was going through.
and what I was going through.
And then breathe. Without this pattern,
Without this pattern,
I don't have to harshly judge myself or other people
I don't have to harshly judge myself or other people
because nobody listened to me when I was 6.
because nobody listened to me when I was 6.
And then breathe. Without this pattern,
Without this pattern,
I can stop harshly judging myself and my parents
I can stop harshly judging myself and my parents
and my partner
and my partner
without feeling like a 6-year-old who can't make it on her own.
without feeling like a 6-year-old who cannot make it on her own.
Yeah, because that was then
And because that was then,
and this is now.
and this is now.
And I had nowhere I could go at age 6.
I had nowhere I could go at age 6.
And I didn't have life skills that I needed.
And I didn't have life skills that I needed.
But now I do.
But now I do.
I have life skills as an adult.
I have life skills as an adult.
And I can listen to what I need
And I can listen to what I need
without harshly judging my partner, my child's parent, my child's father.
without harshly judging my child's father.
Yeah. And without feeling stuck with him.
And without feeling stuck with him.
And then breathe. Wow. I want to do something about the urine blocking here because this is kind of interesting. Someone like in the world of, you can take a rest with that. In the world of, animals,
Mm-hmm.
biology of animals, they mark their territory by peeing,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
feel like you lost your territory. You're afraid of losing your territory, and now you can't even mark it. Like
Yeah.
psychologically and biologically, um, that may be the reason that system has been affected.
Wow, that's
Because I'm
amazing.
thinking you're in a custody battle with the child, with your daughter, and with her father. And so there's this sense of, you know, my territory. She's part of my territory and she's going to be taken from me.
Yeah.
And I can't even, and I feel powerless to stop it. So the powerlessness to stop that, I want to say that taking of your territory is what blocks the urine, is what I believe. Um, so and it's interesting, they can't figure out what it is, which
No.
also it also supports your mind and the idea that I'm never going to figure out how to end this territory battle over our daughter
Yeah.
because he is so difficult.
Yes.
And just having that idea in your head prevents you from being inspired, from God or inspiration from your own abilities to create a better relationship that allows you not to feel that your territory is being encroached upon.
Yeah. Like my boundaries are my where my boundaries don't exist. Like they're broken, they're violated.
Right, right. And that's the way he seems to operate off of that.
Yeah.
Um, but at the same time, you kind of float into that disassociation because I don't want to cry or get angry. I want to do the right thing. So I have to check out so I can be a robot and just go through the motions. But in going through the motions, you block your ability to come up with a better plan to separate and still honor his fatherhood and your motherhood and your child and all of that. Like you can't even come up with anything because you're disassociated trying to deal with whatever it is he does in his controlling.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
right. So,
Yes, yes,
so
yes. It's like everything you're saying is what I feel, but it's hard to put in words, and you're putting it in perfect wording.
perfect. So, I need you to say, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that I'm in a territory battle with my child's father.
that I'm in a territory battle with my child's father,
And and I can't mark my territory.
and that I can't mark my territory,
And that nothing belongs to me.
and that nothing belongs to me.
And then breathe. Oh, that feels good. I forgive myself for feeling angry and pissed off
I forgive myself for feeling angry and pissed off
because um because I can't I want to say I can't mark my territory. I'm not given respect as the mother.
because I can't mark my territory because I'm not given respect as a mother.
And then breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that my partner has to change or this will continue this way forever.
that my partner has to change or this will continue this way forever.
And then breathe. Yeah, I forgive myself for believing that, uh, yeah, that he has the power. No, no. I forgive myself for feeling angry and pissed because he takes ownership of everything.
I forgive myself for
Feeling
for feeling anger
and
because
pissed.
I believe and pissed because I believe that he takes ownership of everything. Oh,
even
so
my
true.
relationship
Even
with
my
my daughter,
relationship, even my relationship with my daughter,
which he can't even take if he wanted.
which he cannot even take if he wanted.
And then breathe. Oh, that feels a lot better. Oh.
Oh my God.
I,
I feel like there's so much space that opened up inside.
yeah, yeah. Um, yeah, those beliefs were really like hindering you from a creative outcome for yourself that could work for everybody. That you could start to come up with plans or creative outcomes in these relationships that aren't just him having ownership of everything.
Hmm.
So I ask God.
Hmm.
So say that. I ask God
I asked God
to restore to me
to restore to me
everything, all the territory that belongs to me,
everything, all the territory that belongs to me,
that is rightfully and God-given mine,
that is rightfully and is God-given mine,
that I may have given up to my partner
that I may have given up to my partner
because he somehow convinced me it was his.
because he somehow convinced me that it was his.
I ask God to restore all of that territory back to me
I ask God to restore all of that territory back to me
so that yeah, so that this is weird. So that a piss match isn't necessary.
so that a piss match isn't necessary
Right. Anymore.
anymore.
Yeah. And then breathe. Oh, that feels good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. I won't even go to what was going on there. I know you know because it's probably all the dots are connecting in your head. Ah, okay. So,
Everything you're
all right.
saying is exactly what I'm feeling.
That's good. That's so we're like rewriting it so it's more empowering through forgiveness, through letting go, through I want to say through a lens of love and grace and compassion instead of out of anger and lording over someone. It's like that's not going to work. Not even for him in the end.
Hmm.
Um all right, and I forgive myself
I forgive myself
for believing
for believing
that uh that my that my daughter has to be damaged by this man to prove that I'm right about him.
that my daughter has to be damaged by this man to prove
That I'm
that I
right
am
about him.
right, that I'm right about him.
Yeah. And then
Wow.
breathe. Yeah. Oh, that feels better too. Ah. Ah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I give my daughter permission
I give my daughter permission
to live in peace
to live in peace
with her mother and her father,
with her mother and her father,
whether we are together or not.
whether we're together or not.
And then breathe. Yeah. All right. Now I'm going to check what stage of healing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yay, we got to acceptance. So we moved a
Nice.
lot there out of that big stuck place. Accept,
Nice.
yeah, stage 5. And I'm going to go up a little bit more. So one thing, love, family, current self, lost and vulnerable. I feel lost and vulnerable about myself. Um, I want to
I
say
feel
that. Do you know why?
no.
With
I
self? Is it, I mean, I'm going to jump to a bunch of things. Like, I feel lost and vulnerable with myself because I wanted it to work out with him.
yes.
And because I'm afraid it will never work out with him.
Yes, because I'm afraid
So
it'll never
like,
work out.
yeah, so it's, yeah, which is, yeah, I'm going to go there. So that's kind of what happens now that I'm going to rewrite this. Doesn't mean I stay or go. And if I go or I stay, I wanted it to work out. I didn't want it to be this way. So I feel
Yes,
kind of vulnerable, and it's like
and hopeless.
accepting, right? And it's like what you got to come into is accepting exactly the way it is, even though you couldn't change it. It doesn't have to turn you into to a 6-year-old who doesn't matter and who doesn't have resources to take care of her own life, because that was then and this is now. But it is
Okay.
super sad to love someone that you decide for your own good you can't be with. That's still sad.
Very.
And it's the hopelessness may be that um that he would interfere with me having a better relationship with him or with somebody else. Because even if you go, you have to create a better relationship with him even if you're not with him. Because it sounds like he's not looking to create anything better. He thinks what he has is great.
Yeah. Or
So
more so,
you're
he
the
could do
one,
whatever he wants, and it just
right?
doesn't matter.
Right. So, right. And when it doesn't matter, it doesn't mean you don't matter. It means it doesn't matter to him if you want him to change. It's not important to him to change.
It doesn't matter to him how it affects me.
Well, right, because he doesn't
Mm,
take any responsibility for it. So I like that. So I need you, let's see, phase one, phase two, heart. So now I want you to you're going to put your hands right under your collarbone, a finger and a thumb, like just below your collarbone. And I'm going to rub
mhm.
there as well. And I need you to say, I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that it didn't matter. Well, that when I was 6, how I felt didn't matter to my family.
how I felt didn't matter to my family
When I was 6,
when I was 6.
and then breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that how I feel will never matter to my child's father,
that the way I'm feeling will never matter to my child's father,
unless it's the way he wants me to feel.
unless it's the way he wants me to feel.
And then breathe. I forgive myself for believing
I forgive myself for believing
that I have to feel lost and vulnerable
that I have to feel lost and vulnerable,
showing up for my own life and my daughter,
showing up for my own life and my daughter,
because I really wanted it to work out with her dad,
because I really wanted it to work out with her dad,
because I wanted him to be better than he is.
because I wanted him to be better than he is.
And then breathe. Yeah. I forgive myself
I forgive myself
for allowing this trauma at age 6
for allowing this trauma at age 6
to attract me to a man
to attract me to a man
that could allow me to fix something at age 6 that I couldn't fix.
that could allow me to fix something at age 6 which I couldn't fix.
And that I couldn't fix it then and I can't fix it now.
I couldn't fix it then and I can't fix it now.
I can
Oh,
just
that's so sad.
forgive. I can just forgive my parents.
I can just I can just forgive my parents
For making that fighting something that was supposed to be normal.
for making that fighting something that was supposed to be normal.
And then breathe. And I give my daughter permission to forgive me
And I give my daughter permission to forgive me
for, wow, for the trauma that she's gone through
for the trauma that she's gone through,
that I couldn't prevent.
that I couldn't prevent.
And then breathe. Without this pattern,
Without this pattern,
my daughter doesn't have to be a nervous, angry mess.
my daughter does not have to be this nervous, angry mess
For me to do what's best
for me to do what's best
for me and her.
for for me to do what's best for me and her
In this relationship with her father.
in this relationship with her father.
And then breathe. Without this pattern,
Without this pattern,
my daughter doesn't have to be an angry, nervous mess
my daughter does not have to be an angry, nervous mess
so that I can fix something when I was 6
so that I can fix something when I was 6
that I can't fix.
that I can't fix.
And then breathe. I let go
I let go
of all the trauma and pain I couldn't fix at age 6.
of
All the trauma
all the trauma and pain that I couldn't fix at age 6.
and that frees me
And that frees me
to not have to be in control of everything all the time.
to not have to be in control of everything all the time.
So that, yeah, and to not have to make everything better by myself.
And not having to make everything better by myself.
Because I can open up to divine inspiration.
Because I can open up to divine inspiration.
And I'm not alone.
And I'm not alone.
And I don't have to figure it out.
And I don't have to figure it out.
Yeah. And then breathe. All right, let's check what stage. We got you to stage 6, which is light emerging. It means lots of stuff will start to happen on its own, where you don't have to do everything perfect, that you're going to get help from divine forces that are in on this with you. And that means that you can stop, you can stop trying to fix the partner that didn't work out. That's just sucking all your energy. Like,
Yeah.
I have to fix him so so he doesn't take my child away, instead of going, you know what, I can't fix him. And
Yeah.
my relationship with my child is non-negotiable. I mean, he doesn't have ownership of that. There's no way
Yeah.
to really understand that. And that I am not the 6-year-old child in this picture. I'm a grown-up with a child who I want to create a new situation for her.
Yes.
And I have to be able to create that situation. I don't have to give in to the demands of a narcissistic partner. I have to creatively find ways to show up in a way that holds my power, and that I show respect to him. Even if he doesn't show respect to me, I'm not going to let him, I'm not going to get angry about that. I'm going to respect me,
Okay. Yes.
because I
Yes.
can't depend on him to show me the respect to know that I matter. I matter because I'm here. I'm that child's mother. That's
Yes.
why I matter. And not because you listened to me and you did what I wanted, because that's never going to work. That didn't work when you were 6 and it really hurt badly. So you have to like say, I don't need for that to happen anymore so that I know I matter. I know I matter.
I know
I,
it matter.
I matter because this child needs her mother.
Yes, because she really does need me.
Yep. Yep. So, do you feel anything else? Like, how do you feel right now?
I feel so much lighter in my chest. I did not know how much pressure was there before we even started the session, and I don't know for how long I carried it. I feel like I'm filled with
Yeah,
air. It's light. It's so light here.
that is
Where
so
usually
good.
I feel like pressure and like anxieties where I usually
And
feel
it
it.
was normal. That was a normal feeling.
That's the thing. I got so used to it that it felt totally normal, and now in comparisons, I'm a little bit shocked.
That's so awesome. So here's what you want to think about because you're not fighting. We remove that. You're not fighting with your partner anymore. You're settling, how this relationship's going to go right now.
Hmm.
And you get a say in that, you
Hmm.
know, and you don't have to fight for that. You don't have to get him to say, "Oh, you get a say in that," for you to have a say in it. You have a say in it because you're the mom, you're the one who's been taking care of the baby, and that you have to trust him to be that your daughter is going to be okay with him. And I actually feel like she is, that he's more likely to be mean to you than her.
Yeah, that's true.
So you have to let go of all the grudge, of the hurt, and the just the meanness that he has, the control and the false ownership of things he's taken from you. We restored all that back. So don't give it back to him, but you don't have to fight for it. You just hold it. You just know, what, you can't get ownership of my relationship with our daughter. That's my relationship because I'm the mom. You're never going to be the mom. I can't be the dad. So you keep that relationship as the dad, and I'm good with that because at the end, we are now co-parents of a little child who needs both of us to love her.
It's so amazing that you're saying that because I didn't even, until you're saying these words, I didn't even realize that I'm constantly trying to prove that I'm a good mom to a bad dad while being a good mom. Why do I have to even prove
You
this? I have a
don't.
need inside to just to prove it.
Right, because I think it's because you didn't want to remember what happened at age 6. There was that trauma in there at age 6 that would come up, and of your mom fighting and the stuff you couldn't control and feeling like you didn't matter. And so if I'm a good mom, then I'll matter and I'll fix what happened when I was 6 instead of, and I prove that to people. But you don't have to prove that. You are a good mom. You are the mom that was supposed to have this little girl, and he's the dad. She is half you and half him. And for you to be able to have a conversation with him that you say, what we have to do is we have to create a better relationship where we both honor and respect our roles as parents with this child who we both love, even if we don't get together ourselves. If we can't figure that out, we can figure out how to be parents for our
Hmm.
child. And for
Hmm.
you, I mean, he may actually let up if he
I'm
if
so
he
sorry.
if he starts to realize that you aren't out to prove that he's a bad dad. That
Okay.
you're actually looking to prove that he's a very good dad and that he
Okay.
is exactly the dad my daughter needs. So, I mean, that may shock him to think that you aren't just going to criticize how he fathers or what he is and how he runs his life because, it is what it is, how he operates. And
Hmm.
criticizing it isn't going to make him not be a narcissist if he's a narcissist. So it's a waste of energy for you to do that. when
Hmm.
you could take all that energy and create something better for your daughter that you and him can have respect with for each other.
Okay.
So anyway, and this is the end, so I'm gonna turn this off and
Okay.
let's see, stop recording, but we'll still be